Yes, breaking news. Breaking news, NFL nerds, nerd NFL heads. The Titans have fired head coach Brian Callahan. This is not really surprising news. Maybe the timing's a little surprising considering Ian Rappaport was on, I think, McAfee show earlier today saying he doesn't foresee any coaches getting fired this week or soon, imminently, if you will. And then basically, as he was finishing that sentence, Brian Callahan relieved of his duties. Now, before I say what I want to say about this, Brian Callahan, he's going to be fine. His dad was a coach in the NFL. His dad's on staff at Tennessee right now. Do you think they'll keep his dad on staff? That would be interesting, right? Just leave the dad on staff, but fire the son. Brian's going to be fine. He knows how this works. He's been in the NFL a long time. He's made a lot of money. He's going to make a lot of money because he got fired from Tennessee. But after this season, a bunch of guys that he hired, a bunch of assistant coaches, all those other coaches working hard, working to make an honest living, they're going to get canned as well. They have to uproot their families and do all that stuff. The stuff we don't really talk about a lot with these firings. And I don't want to make light of any of that because it sucks. That's hard on families. Now that I've said that, Titans fans, you are free. And you can celebrate good times. Come on. Celebrate good times. Come on. It's the Music City, right? That's music. This is That's Good Sports. Huh? All right, Titans fans, it's getting real. Getting real. A disastrous hire, if you will, for your team, for your franchise. You got a quarterback who you think might be the guy in Cam Ward. You have watched your team 6 weeks this year. The only game they won was against Arizona, correct? Can my brain remember 2 weeks ago? Was it the Cardinals? Yeah, you beat the Cardinals 22-21. There you go. You prayed for times like this. I understand, Titans fans. This is the right move. It felt like Brian Callahan was just never really cut out for the gig, right? And to be fair to him, it's not like the Titans have a roster that's oozing with talent. Will Levis was fun, and then he got hurt. You had Mason Rudolph in there for a stretch. Then you get Cam Ward, and we've seen some flashes from Cam Ward, but it just has not looked like the Titans improve week to week. And that's what you want to see with a young football team. It hasn't looked like Cam Ward has gotten better week to week, and you have to see that with a young quarterback. He's been the most sacked quarterback this entire season, sacked 6 times this last game to the Raiders. The Raiders, and they can get after quarterbacks with Max Crosby, right? But like, it was the Raiders that broke Tennessee. The Raiders are bad. They're not Titans bad. But when the Tennessee Titans front office saw the Raiders dominate the game 20-10, sack Cam Ward 6 times, they said, no more. We've got to make a change. We've got to make a change. And the crazy part is Mike Vrabel comes into town this week to coach against his former team. And I think most of us who follow football never understood the Mike Vrabel firing. You get to a point in franchises where maybe a coach has been around too long and you just got to make a change. It never felt like that was the right move with Vrabel. Felt like Vrabel was coaching up bare bones rosters, right? Going all the way back to when they traded away A.J. Brown. And now he's going to come to town. It's probably not going to be pretty this week. They have not named an interim head coach yet. That'll be interesting. I think a lot of people want Bones, a.k.a. John Fossil, right? A lot of people calling for John Fossil. I think was he your special teams coordinator right now? I can't remember. But yeah, the Titans, this is a good one from Albert Breer, their timeline. They fired John Robinson, the GM, hired Rand Carthon. Then they fired vrabel. Okay, Brinker, whatever. Callahan hired. Carthon fired. Borgonzi, it's a Borgonzi scheme. Oh no, Tennessee, you got a Borgonzi scheme. Hired as your GM. Callahan fired. Will this right the ship for Tennessee? Probably not this season. For this season, all Titans fans can hope for at this point is improvement and development with Cam Ward. You don't really care about the record. Hopefully you can keep the morality high, morality high for your players, for the locker room. That guys go out there and want to be there. Specifically, players like Jeffrey Simmons, who have been teased as trade bait. You might want to trade away a few pieces to get some draft picks so they can rebuild. But everything in terms of Tennessee's success depends on who they hire as the next head coach in this next cycle once the season concludes, if they can get that right. And this is going to be a somewhat appealing job because Cam Ward is there. So you want to showcase enough from Cam Ward to truly entice the best available candidate. And who knows what other openings are going to be at this point? Maybe the Dolphins, right? So that'll be interesting. You're playing to lure in a coach, basically, Tennessee. That's what you're doing for the rest of the season. Your season's not going to be saved. Titans fans know that. But one name to watch out for, Joe Brady, offensive coordinator in Buffalo. His name started getting teased a little bit last year, right? Is he the Ben Johnson of this next cycle? I'm not sure. But you want an offensive-minded head coach, right? You want a guy like Ben Johnson who's going to come in, like Liam Cohen, who's going to come in and start correcting all the bullshit that's going on with your offense every week. You're going to want to build up your offensive line. You got to do those things in addition to finding the right head coach. And in finding the right head coach, you got to have a guy you trust to do those things. Kind of figured this would happen when vrabel embarrassed them week 7, but this was inevitable. Callahan is just not a head coach. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, Callahan doesn't seem like a bad dude, right? He's not Urban Meyering this shit. Just seems like he's not cut out to be a head coach. And he got the job for coaching up Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow's just really good. I don't think the credit was in the right spot there, considering Zach Taylor might be on the hot seat in Cincinnati now. So that's how Callahan landed the gig. 4-19 in his tenure with Tennessee. Vrabel's already got 4 wins with the Patriots, right? Drake May is looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. He's already won his 4 games in New England. And then we get Patriots Titans week 7. That's must-see TV at this point. Staring at Cliff now. Ooh. Cliff Kingsbury? That would be a risky one. Let's see how the Commanders offense finishes the season, right? That's an interesting one. He's going to be gettable, probably. Vrabel's Patriots are going to put on the hurt next week. I feel bad for Ward's situation. Terrible situation. Yeah. I think the other thing we saw, it was Jeffrey Simmons after the game. There's this clip of him. Let's see.
Learn how to stack wins, and to be able to carry that momentum over, you have to do. Start at practice. I probably, just being honest, this probably was one of our worst week of practice. Came out.
Yeah, so he's saying they had a bad week of practice. One of their worst weeks of practice. So you lose to the Raiders. It's an ugly win. Then you see your player saying, your best player, literally your best player, and Simmons is a beast, saying they had their worst week of practice. you put that on coaching, right? That's your coaches not getting the team ready to play. And as Ian Rappaport reported, the decision was made by the Titans brass this morning. And I think you see some of these things. You're like, we gotta do this now to try and just make sure shit's right for the players for the rest of the season. And hopefully that works out for them. Again, like what is getting right look like for the Titans for the rest of the season? Less sacks every week. Not being the most sacked quarterback every week is a place to start. And just some semblance of, consistency, of sustaining drives, functioning offense. They're like ranked in the bottom 5 on offense in a lot of categories, bottom 5 in defense in a lot of categories. Maybe Dable or Glenn could be next. Aaron Glenn or Brian for the next coach is fired? Maybe. I don't know. I think Brian Dable's, his stock's rising right now. Aaron Glenn? I think they'll give him the year. There you go, Max. You're on double duty. You're on double duty with Miles. As a Titans fan, I can say this. Callahan is a symptom of a bigger problem. The front office and Amy Adams firing John Robinson in 2022 while the team was 7-5 is the real issue. That's fair too. I pointed out all those moves they made, and none of them have really worked out or felt right. Where were those at? Where were those little... Now we're getting into my Baker Mayfield. Where the fuck were those? Where are those little guys? Where are their decisions? There they are. Yeah, that's a good observation. I think you're probably very correct there. Think they want Spags, Tom? Dude, I mean, if Spags is ready to try to be a head coach again, I think he deserves that opportunity. It feels like he just wants to be a DC in KC. He's very good at that. But maybe he's learned enough being there that he's ready to be a head coach. And he's definitely somebody I would consider. And not just because I don't want him coaching the Chiefs defense anymore. I think he's earned that opportunity. Belichick may be back soon. Oh, that would be funny. I think Belichick needs to retire. I think he's well past his prime. But I would not be looking at Belichick if I'm the Titans. Yeah, it would be funny. Belichick would be very funny. Please do it for the views. Since firing vrabel and losing Henry, I question the identity of the Titans. Been 16 months during the entire Callahan period. We had zero identity other than bad. Yeah, and you want your coach to establish that, to establish who you are as a team, in addition to, being good with the X's and O's on one side of the football, putting the young players in position to win. So Vance Joseph, interesting. I mean, Vance doing a great job with the Broncos defense. He will probably get another look at the head coaching run in 20. I don't know if it'll be 2026, but yeah, I don't know if Vance is head coach material either. Those are interesting questions. Like, how much do these guys kind of benefit from having a head coaching gig that doesn't work out, going back to coordinating, and then being truly ready that second time around? If we're looking at the Broncos staff, a hot name is going to be Davis Webb. He's the quarterback's coach right now, ipso facto, I believe. Is he the QB coach? Is Joe Lombardi technically the Broncos OC? It's hard because Sean Payton calls the plays, right? We don't really care about our coordinator on offense. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it's technically Joe Lombardi. The Titans have Mike McCoy, former Broncos coach, available to possibly be the interim. that could be a guy who comes in for the interim whenever I would have assumed they would have named that already, but they're probably talking to some of the internal candidates right now. Mike McCoy's had head coaching experience. Got Fossil there as well, but the Broncos, is Davis Webb. I think he's going to be a hot name for offensive coordinator roles this year, but maybe you can just leapfrog the offensive coordinator, go out and get a former quarterback, 30-year-old Davis Webb. Maybe that's what the Titans do for their head coach. I don't know. I don't really know. What I do know is today's stream sponsored by Prize Picks. Got to sign up with my code TGS at Prize Picks. I've been following everybody back there. We've got over 3,000 followers on Prize Picks. Your names have been hilarious. My picks, though, I have not. I started out hot this season. I had 6 wins in my stat total guesses. I'm on a losing streak, but Prize Picks sponsoring the show all year. We were about 190 signups away from our next goal, our next bonus. I haven't gotten the update what we did over the weekend, but if you've been thinking about signing up and playing and you know you can do it responsibly, do it over at Prize Picks. Follow me on the app. Once you're in there, you can see the plays I'm making. And yeah, you know how it goes. Fantasy plan, sign Eddie George as interim head coach, trade for A.J. Brown and Derrick Henry, ignite the locker room, make the playoffs somehow. Also, why not bring back Chris Johnson at this point? 1-2 punch with Derrick Henry and Chris Johnson. Ryan Tannehill, he can be your quarterback coach. Let's bring them all back. Jeff Fisher, you think Jeff Fisher's available for interim? You think Jeff Fisher would take the interim gig? Huh? Pro Football Talk said options include Mike McCoy, or someone like Mike McCarthy or Eddie George. If they brought in an outside guy like Mike McCarthy, that would be interesting. I think a lot of Titans fans want Fossil. They want John Fossil. A defensive coordinator, Denard Wilson. So those are your options in there. I was just liking all the Titans-related tweets. Brian Callahan, had very wet shirt here.
Got to go your way for 4 quarters and make the plays necessary to win the game. And you just saw it's not pretty. Sometimes some got to go your way. But you guys kept fighting, and you fought every snap from start to finish.
Yeah, kind of a lackluster locker room speech after your first win of the season. Literally not enough time in the day to pump out the amount of content you pump out. Either way, thanks for the lunch content every day. Yeah, we do a lot. I just shot winners and losers. Working on getting that going. I thought I was going to get ahead today, and then Callahan got fired. I can never get ahead, but thanks for noticing, Juan. Thanks for noticing. We do a lot of work here. I'd love for the Titans to give my brother the middle finger and hire Josh McDaniels. Let the suffering continue for him. Yeah, I don't think Josh will be in the mix. That would be funny. That'd be very funny. Used your code on Prize Picks and already got some big wins and only spent $10. What an endorsement, Commander Ray. Link in the description. Code TGS. The best. You're the best. Feel for the Titans for sure. Maybe James Franklin, John Harbaugh getting into the hot seat. Just a disappointing start of the year for those teams. Yeah. It's tough too because I watched the Titans week 1 when they played the Broncos, and my take on Cam Ward was he's got some stuff. He's got some of the things you want in a young quarterback. But there's a lot of stuff that didn't work out in that game. It wasn't necessarily his fault. There was drops in that game as well. He made some nice throws, and I think Titans fans have seen enough of those plays to be optimistic about Cam Ward. But he needs better protection. He needs better coaching in terms of getting rid of the ball quickly, giving your young quarterback easy 1-2 reads to make, get your run game going. There's been no run game for the Titans. You need weapons on the outside for him. Who's your rookie receiver? Ao Manor. I always say his name wrong. He's had some moments, but Titans are in full rebuild. So the coach better have a plan, better have a vision in coordination with your general manager to actually do the rebuild correctly, right? Hire Mike McDaniel. I mean, you get say you got a coach like Spags, say you had Spags as your head coach. Okay. I kind of like that idea. I think you're looking at a guy like Mike McDaniel as your offensive coordinator. I don't think he's the right guy for head coach, right? But he's got to be fired too. Hire Josh McDaniels. He's fucked so many teams at this point. Every team will give you 5 extra picks to say sorry. Who do you think are candidates for the Titans? I mean, I don't know yet. We've kind of talked through some of them. But you're going to be looking at some of the top coordinators around the league. Maybe Robert Saleh wants to coach again. Probably not the guy you guys want to hear in Tennessee. He's a defensive guy, but he's got the 49ers defense playing a lot better. I think he wants to be a head coach again. He wanted the job in Jacksonville. Brian Flores is head coach. Actually, you know what? I think Cam Ward would mesh really well with Brian Flores. I think Cam Ward, Cam Ward's his path to the NFL was, I think he went through more adversity to get where he's at, that he's a hardened rookie. I don't think a lot's really going to shake Cam Ward. And I honestly think Brian Flores and Cam Ward might be a good fit together. But with Brian Flores, you still need your offensive coordinator. You need your OC to really develop Cam and evolve the offense. Owner, yeah, problem with the Titans is the owner. Worried they'll hire another lame duck coach to be, well, I don't know if they're going to intentionally hire a lame duck coach to be a scapegoat. And I don't think they hired Brian to be a scapegoat. He's a scapegoat now. But yeah, they lack direction at the top. And then when you don't have good ownership, that problem continues to arise unless they get lucky and just hire the right guy. And you're okay. So like another example is Jacksonville, right? Shad Khan, not necessarily a great owner, but he tries, right? He tries. He's wanted to do the right thing. He just didn't a couple times. But it feels like he might have found the right guy in Liam Cohen. So even a bad owner, maybe they just make the right hire and it works out. But you got to also have the right GM. So we'll see with the Titans. Bills OC Joe Brady. Yeah, he's going to be a very hot candidate. That makes sense for a lot of reasons. But also, I do worry about any guy coordinating Josh Allen, right? I think we've seen the Bills' offense become better with Joe Brady. Was it Ken Dorsey that they fired after Brian Daboll left? Brady, definitely better than Dorsey. Might be better than Brian Daboll as a play caller. But he's got Josh Allen. If I'm trying to hire my next head coach, I really don't want the guy who's succeeding with the Josh Allen type. Because Josh Allen's too fucking good. Josh Allen does things every quarter, every other play that no coach can coach, right? That's what would concern me. But I do think Joe Brady's very good. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunities. And Callahan's your example. He came over from Joe Burrow, right? Get Marcus Mariota and Ben Jones to be the OC after what we learned in the podcast. What'd you learn in the podcast? Kingsbury, Joe Brady, Jesse Minter, or even Mike McCarthy if they want to build on defense. Saleh wouldn't be a bad one. There you go. Mike McCarthy and Joe Brady as high options. Yeah. Ooh, the Kubiak son. Kubiak from Seattle. Hey, I like that. I actually like that call, Elijah. I think that's an interesting option. Doing a hell of a job with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks offense right now. If I'm Kubiak, I just stay there in OC for a while. You know, really grow into that role. But seeing what he's doing with Sammy D and that offense, that's not bad. I love the Kubiak lineage. Who knows? Anyway, congrats, Tennessee. You get to move on. It's step one. You got the quarterback. Everybody thinks he's the dude. And now let's just find the right guy to make sure he progresses to be the dude in Cam Ward. And hopefully this brings good things for the Titans. They've been down bad. Titans fans have had it bad. At least when Will Levis was out there were some fun things happening in all the losses. Just feels like the Titans' losses are no longer fun. They're really painful. Oh, Jim Bob Cooter, former Broncos coach as well. Oh, Jim Bob Cooter. That'd be amazing. That would be amazing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching today. Make sure you subscribe here to That's Good Sports. Just wanted to do a quick update on this, and that turned into 26 minutes. I wish nothing but the best for you, Tennessee. Bad man is gone, Jackson. Need Spags or Schwartz as head coach in Cleveland. I'd take McDaniel as OC. There you go. There's options. There will be options, and you got a lot of time to think about it, Tennessee. Come back tomorrow for winners and losers. It's going to be a banger. It'll be like all the rest.